Welcome back to another episode with Gail Lynn. Just kidding you. I'm starting to have fun with these little webinars that I'm recording. So I'm going to have my notes here, but I just did this presentation to a bunch of firefighters. I don't think it went well. Well, some of them said they really, really loved it, but some of them were sitting there like, do I have to be here? I don't want to listen to this girl. So it's kind of fun. So no, it wasn't fun. But I'm going to give you guys the information, so it made it worth all my research and time and effort. And hopefully I planted a seed. That's all I can say. All right, so it's going to be about PTSD and self-care. And I learned a lot, which I think will be really interesting for the audience. All right, so we all know what PTSD is. It's, some kind of a trauma. It could be veterans, it could be a divorce, it could be about a car accident, it could be that your parents passed away. It could be anything. So PTSD isn't just about veterans in the war. There was one story where somebody ran out of gas and they were obsessed with getting gas every couple miles, probably every 10, 15 miles. It's a form of PTSD, a little over the top, but I guess if you run out of gas and you're afraid to do it again, you might just kind of flip out and just stop everywhere. So kind of crazy. I had a noisy neighbor one time. Oh boy, for 13 months they just pounded on my wall and would wake me up. So even sometimes I'll hear pounding on the wall and it kind of re-triggers that firestorm in my brain about the 13 months of the noisy neighbors. So I just moved out. I had to get rid of them. Let's see what else. Migraines. If you get migraines, when I used to have migraines, I'd get the aura. So as soon as I got that aura, I knew I needed to leave wherever I was and skedaddle, because it was going to be in 45 minutes going to have 15 hours of pain, and I couldn't drive or anything. So I had a shopping cart, like, oh, in a meeting, like, gone. They're pretty traumatic and it can create some PTSD. Even sometimes when I'll look at the sun and look back, and when I have that aura, oh no, but then I have to calm myself down and know that it's not a migraine. It's interesting though how those things after 23 years can affect sometimes the rest of your life. What happens in the brain with a PTSD trigger? So the PTSD trigger causes some electrical activity in the brain, like a firestorm, and then the brain heats up and causes damage. So you can actually burn up brain cells and tissues. And the body will try to protect itself, to protect you, but it ends up hurting because it'll flood the body with adrenaline, and eventually that adrenaline will deplete, but it pumps it in to try to cool down the system. So we need to restore from this so we don't burn up the engine. And the great thing is that we have more information from science and research that we can heal from it. So, and I'm going to be giving you guys some food ideas and even some song selections that you can listen to at home if you can't make it out to the center to get some help. So adrenaline, however you say it, can make the liver sluggish, as well as to stress out the liver when there's too much adrenal activity. So the high-fat, high-protein diets that a lot of people are on can actually starve the liver and starve the brain and make things worse. And there's a lack of glucose when you're on these high-fat, high-protein diets. You really want to get some glucose in the system. We will be talking about that. And if you have not seen my liver webinar, you can find that on my website at www.lifecenter.us. And you can watch the liver webinar to find out how to love your liver. It's fun. Okay, so glucose, there's a storage bin of glucose in the brain. So what I've been reading is that when we were born, we have this little bin in our brain. I don't know where it's at, somewhere in the brain, and it stores glucose. So breast milk, I recently found out within the last year or so that there's a lot of sugar in it. So it kind of starts up that bin and gets everything programmed for the rest of your life from the breast milk that is a lot of sugar or glucose. Glucose protects us from PTSD damage. It'll cool down the brain. Glucose protects the cells from burning out, and the brain runs on sugar. So have you ever heard of people eating brains? I never tried it, but they say they're really sweet. So, and the good sugar, not Hershey's chocolate. We're talking about glucose from fruits and good sugars because fruit contains fructose, but the fiber it's packed with slows down the absorption of sugar. So you don't get that sugar high. And then there's certain vegetables, carrots, beets, sweet potatoes, yams. They contain natural sugars. How many know the difference between a sweet potato and a yam? Usually the stores will sell sweet potatoes, but yams are the orange ones, and the sweet potatoes have a white center, or they have a white, they're white. So I learned that because my horse, Ollie, eats a sweet potato every day, and so I've become a sweet potato connoisseur of sorts, helping her get her fix on sweet potatoes. She likes the yams too. There's garnet yams, jewel yams, and sweet potatoes. The yams are orange. Oh, and then I will have to say too, when you eat a hot pepper, sugar will cool that down. So it makes sense how the brain uses sugar to cool down a firestorm when there's a lot of stress or trauma and it heats up, and that glucose in the brain will help cool it down. And could it be that the chocolate craze and the sugar craze is booming from so many people with PTSD? Instinctually, we might be trying to restore that glucose bin with the wrong sugar. So we need the right sugar to help repair and heal the brain. So what are some of the things that we can do? Meditating is so amazing. I have a hard time with it, but when I go into my technology, the Harmonic Egg, we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. That's my meditation. So it's really hard for me to turn my brain off. And what I understand is meditation is not about turning off the brain, but just about recognizing the thoughts that you're having, honoring them, and acknowledging them. And that's a form of meditation too. Remember to take deep breaths throughout the day. Not shallow breathing, but deep belly breaths that they teach you in yoga or karate, where you just belly breathe. It really brings more oxygen to the brain and to the organs. Eating and snacking on nourishing food for the body and the brain. We can schedule time in nature, watching the sunset, or even scheduling ourselves at sunset to just take a deep breath and just appreciate the day. Schedule time for a bath or time for yourself, time with family and friends, if of course that's relaxing. And do the things that bring you joy. So, really what my other talk about the liver talks about what the liver needs. The liver needs oxygen. The liver needs glucose. The liver needs mineral salts. And the liver needs water or hydration. I tell everybody about 60 ounces of water a day is great if you eat a lot of raw, because you're hydrating with those raw foods. If you're eating only cooked foods, you really want to drink more water because you're dehydrated from the cooked foods. So I would say, 90 ounces of water if all you're eating is cooked foods. The oxygen will come from deep breathing, of course, but also the fruits can oxygenate the liver, and also mineral salts can be celery juice. I do make a shot of celery juice in the morning. But we also have electrolytes here, which are Himalayan sea salts and ionic sea minerals called superior electrolytes, and that's a great source of mineral salts as well. If you don't have a juicer, or like me, kind of lazy or don't have time, probably the better way to say it is I don't have time to juice and clean the juicer for these green drinks. These things are amazing. So this is an evolution one, green devotion, devoted to the green. Celery, cucumber, spinach, romaine lettuce, kale, lemon, and parsley. It really doesn't taste very good, but it's also a lazier way to get your greens in without juicing. Some of the other things you can do: yoga, listen to music. What I have studied with PTSD is water sounds. Water sounds will help PTSD and kind of help to heal the brain, heal the body, and the trauma. So there's a sound selection called David Gibson, or his name is David Gibson, and his CD is called The Water of Life Journey. And then also instruments like viola. Kay Gardner has some selections if you can find them. She's passed now, but she was a brilliant musician and really understood how music and different instruments affected the body and the organs and the feeling. And not so much with words, music with words, not so much for PTSD, not so much drumming or flute. Those aren't as good as the water and viola. And viola has like a lower frequency, more more so than cello. And so that's why I say the viola as an instrument. Actually, one of the firefighters had come up to me after the presentation and said his uncle was a veteran from the war. And after he put a fountain in his backyard, his uncle came over more often to just enjoy the water sounds. And he said it was interesting because a little light bulb went off in his head that maybe it's helping his uncle with PTSD because he just kept coming over and enjoying that fountain in the water. So you can also create new experiences. Are there things in your life that you used to do that you loved and you forgot that you just love doing them? Like coloring or puzzles, painting, drawing, sewing. Do those things again. Get back to that, those things that you love doing. So I love coloring, and I just bought some adult coloring books. It's so fun and it's so relaxing. So just do some things that you used to enjoy doing. I asked all the men firefighters, I'm like, okay, who used to enjoy coloring? Nobody would raise their hand. Finally, I got somebody to raise their hand. Big, burly, masculine guy. He said, I used to love coloring, so that was fun. So other instruments, just to kind of give you some background, we use a lot of piano here. This piano will balance the nervous system, and there's been heart rate variability tests that actually show piano bringing the central nervous system back into balance. Flute for the liver, drumming for like teeth problems, which can be a root chakra if you understand the chakras. We won't go into that now, but if you have any questions, you can email me. My contact information is on the website. Parkinson's, we use a lot of drumming. MS, knee issues, feet issues, we use a lot of drumming. For the adrenals, we can use some harp. Stiff neck, we'll use violin. So there's a lot of instruments that will do a lot of different things for the body. All right, so studies show that music can trigger the brain to release chemicals that distract the body from pain. Music with spoken words or lyrics has been proven to cause agitation when it's played to PTSD patients. And sounds played on lower pitched instruments, like the viola, are more soothing than higher pitched flutes and then drumming for PTSD. So with PTSD as well, if they were a veteran in a war with a lot of bombing, obviously drums are going to be maybe a trigger, so we don't use drumming for those situations. And over the years, there's been a ton of research on music therapy and helping with PTSD and a full plethora of other illnesses and ailments. Why we stopped using music therapy, don't know. I have my own observations about that. But since the early 19th century, music therapy has been practiced in the US. It was during World War II that doctors paid serious attention to the beneficial effects that music had on wounded soldiers. And they noticed speedier recoveries after local musicians performed at VA hospitals. Now, I attended the Music as Medicine conference in Barcelona this past June. And it was really interesting to see all these doctors presenting case studies and research studies, how music therapy has helped their patients to recover faster, to have less pain during surgeries, to have speedier recoveries. Really cool stuff. Really, really cool. So one of the testimonials that I have with PTSD was a gentleman that came to me in about 3 years ago. And he was in a battle with 3,000 Marines that went to a situation and 15 came out. Pretty horrific for him to have experienced that. And obviously it's going to create some PTSD. The story that he tells me is the last of the 15, all weighed between 400 and 600 pounds. And they're all now passed. He's the last living person from that battle. After coming here, he lost 165 pounds. He has not needed to be on dialysis as they suggested. One of his kidneys is growing and one's working again that they said was dead. His heart grew by a centimeter. Don't know why they're measuring his heart, but obviously trying to figure out why he's still alive. He's walking on his own. When I met him, he was in a wheelchair. His feet aren't numb anymore. His PTSD has improved, and he just has an overall better outlook on life after having cleared so much of the trauma. It was kind of a crazy story because I think when he first came in, he thought I was full of crap and didn't think I could really help him. But I gave him some diet changes. We did some sessions in the sound and light chamber called the Harmonic Egg, and he was even coming to me before the Harmonic Egg was in production. He came to me when we were still using an older technology called the Energy Genesis, and we've upgraded it and changed it. Yeah, it's been an amazing transformation for him. It's such a joy to see him walking down the hallway, not needing his walker, not needing a wheelchair. It's so nice. Such a rewarding career that I have now. So the first music therapy program was developed at the Topeka, Kansas Veterans Hospital, and music therapy actually became a university discipline in 1944 at Western Michigan University. And it's unclear why the VA waited so long to bring music therapy back, but we're glad that they did. So some foods for PTSD. Bananas. Do not be afraid of fruit, people. It's amazing. It does not cause diabetes. Fruit is actually needed. The fructose, the glucose is needed for the liver and the brain. Fructose for the brain, loaded with amino acids. Wild blueberries, they're low in sugar, but they're a magical fruit. Not like also PTSD. Cherries, antioxidants, the melatonin, the glucose to help carry the melatonin, and the antioxidants carried to the brain. Celery, we talked about the celery juice with the mineral salts for the liver and the emotions. Potatoes help repair PTSD damage. Winter squash, nutrition for the brain and the nervous system. And supplements like magnesium threonate and B12 are great for PTSD. There's a product called Calm, which is a magnesium citrate. Not as much for PTSD, but some people take it if they're constipated. It's not as absorbable as magnesium glycinate, but that would be a whole other talk about supplements. B12. If you didn't know that B12, you get a B12 shot, it actually activates the adrenals when the adrenals feel like something's invasive to the body. So it's actually better to get a B12 liquid, sublingual, because the absorbability of it will be better than a capsule in a lot of instances. Magnesium, I'm not magnesium, B12 methylcobalamin is better than the cyanocobalamin. So the Global Healing Center has a really good B12 liquid supplement that I use whenever I need to take B12. So I'm kind of going fast because I actually have a client in, so I'm watching the timer too here, multitasking. So, and then when you're taking supplements, it's really, really good to take them with fruit, honey, maple syrup, coconut water, because that will help the organs absorb them and deliver the nutrients to the body more effectively, meaning the glucose will help the body carry those supplements to the organs more efficiently. Let's see. Other things we can do: hydrate. Limit the fats in your diet, especially for breakfast, because you don't want to mix the sugars with the fats. Cell phone radiation can damage your organs, your nervous system, your DNA. And do not keep them near your heart or on your person if at all possible. Do some deep breathing exercises. Oh, let me say, I see those guys putting in their shirt pocket all the time right next to their heart. Not so good. You should try not to do that. Deep breathing, balance the nervous system. So if you do deep breathing exercises for maybe 15 minutes a day, you can actually reset the central nervous system and balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Pretty good stuff. Oh, I have some notes here, but it's a long story, so we'll save that for another webinar. So here is the harmonic egg. This is my baby, and we're starting to nest these eggs all over the world. We have centers in South Dakota and Tacoma, Washington. We've sold a unit to Ireland. We're just waiting for the grant that they received to go through. Looks like Atlanta, Georgia's coming up soon, La Jolla, California, and it's center near Sacramento, California. So when you're inside this chamber, there's a resonant frequency happening, a resonance happening. And in that resonance, there's a synchronistic cell organization of the cells. So your cells can actually synchronize, and it's an amazing relaxation device to help reset the body and just bring everything into balance. So if you know about the cuckoo clocks with the pendulums all over the place, after a while, they all start to swing and synchronize. That's kind of what happens in a resonant chamber with the resonance of the egg. There's a synchronistic organization of the cells. Beautiful, beautiful. So it just uses sound and light, 360 degrees of healing surrounding your body. You get a sonic massage with the vibration from the chair. And you can see that the outside is paneled, the inside is smooth. But the outside paneling is a dodecahedron, sacred geometry, 12 sides. And then the platform that the chair sits on is a 6-sided hexagon. So we're using some sacred geometry to help the body to heal. Fun stuff. So there is science behind water sounds being helpful to release trauma and triggers of PTSD. Sounds played on lower pitched instruments like the viola are more soothing than the higher pitched flutes and drums for PTSD. I'm seeing the sunlight. That's on my nose. The viola is deeper in tone than the violin, but higher pitched than the cello. So we can set people on what they need in the harmonic egg. Purple light is relaxing. Blue light is calming, among other things. Green light is healing. It helps with the heart chakra and heart issues. Red light can increase blood pressure. Blue light can decrease it. Red light can help with like frostbite. Orange light can help with the liver, help with grief. Yellow light helps with depression. And when you're treating dogs, they don't respond as well to red, yellow, and orange light, but they do to green, blue, and purple for some reason. Pretty cool stuff. I should come check it out sometime. The next slide here has a testimonial from a client, so I'm going to play that for you, and then I'll be right back.
Had better results from a few sessions with Gail than through years and years of therapy at $150, $200 an hour. It's incredible. The cost is very reasonable. It changed my life. It changed my wife's life. I feel great now. I've done a lot for my wife also. We both have a lot of stuff from our past that made us unhappy. Working with Gail and with her chambers made us a lot more happier and a lot more at peace than we were before. Never even realized that I had PTSD because I lost that part of my personality. When I went to Gail, it brought the reasons and memories and everything that was causing that to the surface. They made me aware of what was going on and what the root of my unhappiness was. I had a lot of really negative experiences in the Army and throughout the military with my chosen career path. And after repeated sessions with her, my body and my mind process things on their own to where I'm more at peace with everything from the past. The second set of sessions completely washed away the nightmares. I still have the memories of what happened, and I still have regret, but it's not something that I live with every day where I'm just unhappy every day, and I don't know why I'm unhappy. I'm a lot more peaceful now. Don't get angry like I used to. I'm able to consider other people's feelings more easily than I could before. Just a better person. It's really worked wonders for me. Gail is good at making assumptions. She just listens to what you have to say. Weeks after you've seen her, she'll send you an email checking how you're doing. She'll remember everything that you told her about what you're feeling going into the session, what you're feeling coming out of the session. She definitely takes a personal hands-on approach. It's really impressive.
So that's very complimentary. Wow. And then we're getting busier and busier. So I love to follow up with everybody, but I have to say I've been remiss on doing that because I'm getting thousands of people coming here now. And that guy was just near and dear to my heart. He and his wife now have a baby. And, she said I helped her get pregnant, but of course, he was involved. But the chambers did really help to release a lot of trauma from her and to reset her nervous system, so that little soul really felt comfortable coming in. So try not to cry, but yeah, it's really rewarding. So I have another testimonial for you, and we have hundreds of them. If you're interested, you can go to the website, but here's one more, and this is the last slide here, so here's one more for you.
Go to the Life Center because it can completely and totally change your life and your health in a positive way, and not just your physical health, but your mental, emotional, and spiritual health as well. I did try some other things before I went to the Life Center. I tried acupuncture, which did not relieve my pain. I tried massage. I had tried hypnotherapy, but none of them had the impact that the Life Center did, and certainly not lasting like it has lasted. I'll tell you what, it's worth every penny. I have a condition known as trigeminal neuralgia, which the Western medical world, their treatment for that is to do brain surgery as a last resort, or you get on pain-killing drugs for the rest of your life. Mine happened to be on the right side and went from my ear to my upper jaw to my nose to my eye, and it was very painful. I went that route and tried several variations of pharmaceuticals that just made me sick and tired, and I couldn't function very well. So I didn't like that, and didn't like the option of having brain surgery because it doesn't always work. I did the 3 sessions. Some PTSD from an event I had had 12 years ago was completely lifted. I just felt like a whole new person. I still had the pain in my cheek, but I felt so good after that and so joyful for the first time in about 12 years, these traumatic events, that I said, there's something to this. The next month, I went back for 3 more sessions. And this time, again, the impact for me initially was emotional. I just felt like so many painful things out of my life had been cleared, and I had so much energy. I'm 68 years old, so energy is a big deal. 2 weeks after my second set of sessions, I woke up one morning and the pain in my jaw was gone completely. I go every month now for a tune-up. I'm going on a year now. I feel better than I did when I was in my 40s. This has made a huge impact on my life on so many levels. I would encourage people to give it a try, and give it a try for 3 sessions. I think that gives you a better taste of what can happen for you than just trying it out for 1 session. Gail never tells you what the outcome will be or can be for you because everybody is different. If you believe, as I do, that you store emotions and history, etc., in yourself, you just don't know what good can come of it.
So there you have it. Yes, and I do suggest 3 to 10 sessions. If you have something chronic going on, it's probably going to be more than 3, but maybe around 10. I had 23 years of migraine headaches that went away in about 20 sessions. And now that we're using the Harmonic Egg, it actually delivers the energy to the body more efficiently and more effectively than the old units, the Life Vessel and the Energy Genesis. So I've just kind of made it a little more powerful, but it's still gentle. It'll detox the body. And what we found out with her was the trigeminal neuralgia, and the pain still hasn't come back, but it is an internal shingles virus. So we changed her diet a little bit, and we put her on a couple of supplements, and then during sessions, we were able to knock that virus down, so the pain went away. Pretty cool stuff. But anyway, if you have any questions, you can find me online or at the phone number, and look forward to speaking with you, and hopefully you enjoyed the little webinar. Thank you.